Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am sitting next to not only my husband, Matt, but the little guy's in here with us.
Yeah, so it's a little crazy in our household right now. Jen and I are in the office doing this podcast, obviously, and the cleaners decided to show up early. And this is
4 hours early.
Yeah, this is the time slot we had dedicated to doing this.
Guys.
So the dog's got to be in here with us. And we are on take 2, which is funny because take 1, he was being perfect. And then all of a sudden,
he decided the carpet was his enemy and he needed to destroy it.
So as soon as, so it was so loud, we had to stop we had to stop the first take. And as soon as we stopped, he stopped doing it. So he's in his kennel now, but we're going to try and jump in and knock this out before he gets excited again.
Boy.
Yeah.
He's such a good boy. No, I'm pumped for today. I really am. Today is the exact framework that we personally use. I don't use that in past tense, right? This is something that we use daily. This is the exact framework that I work with clients on. So you've heard pieces of it from us and from other people maybe, but we have a simple way to keep everything in check and moving forward within the framework.
Yeah, Jen says we use it. We literally do. If you're on YouTube, you can see my wrist. If you've ever met me, what you probably don't know because you can't really see it is in that black rubber wristband, there are things that remind me of this framework to use it. And I look at this all the time. If you're ever around me, you'll see me pulling on it. It reminds me to be doing these things that we're going to talk about today. So we absolutely use this as part of our life.
100%. So that actually might lead into some weird moments. So if you happen to see Matt out and about, please don't just run up and grab his wrist and hold it up to your face. Yeah. Don't make it weird. Hey, Matt, may I see your wrist?
That sounds even weirder, but
ask permission.
So jumping in, I was talking to a guy last night, and he's had a pretty big transformation health-wise. And not only has he lost a significant amount of weight, he is literally checking off the medications that he's having to go off of.
That's huge.
It's huge. And he's not a client of ours, but we were just chatting, and he's looking, he's in a really, really good place, obviously. But he's looking for some general direction. And in that conversation that I'm having with him, he's very proud of himself. And he should be. He absolutely should be. But he was describing his transformation as he's going through it. His description of what he did and is doing loosely matches the framework that our coaches have worked with us on, that taught us what we help other people with and what we use on a daily basis. So it just tied in really nicely to what we were going to talk about today. So I want to start with a question, though. I want to get everyone thinking. Why do some people completely change their lives when others stay exactly where they are or where they've always been? Because they have the same information, they have the same podcast, they have the same internet, the same books, the same opportunities, the same everything. But one person transforms and the other one does not. And I don't think it's because one person is smarter. It's not because they're more talented. There are some invisible things, invisible forces that are shaping us. And what's crazy is most people don't even know it's happening. That's why today's message is so important for you to listen closely and figure out a way to put this in your life. It's an easy framework for you to remember. It's 4 V's. The first one is, and we're going to dig into each one of these. The first one is visualize. The second one is vocalize. The third one is vote. And the fourth one is vicinity.
Pardon me. But before we explain them, though, babe, I want to tell a story. Now, most of you have heard this story or some iteration of it over the years, right? But it's exactly what we're talking about today. So for years, for eons, experts believed it was impossible to run a 4-minute mile. Not difficult, impossible. Doctors, scientists, coaches, right? All of the experts. People genuinely believed the human body was not capable. Then Roger Bannister did it. Here's the crazy part. Within a very relative short period of time, multiple runners broke the same barrier, right? The human body didn't just suddenly evolve overnight, right? The belief changed.
Yeah, it's wild. The limitation was not physical. It was all mental.
Exactly. People started seeing something they couldn't see before. Oh my God, he did it. We can do it. Let's do it. right? Which brings us to our first V, visualize.
Yeah. And when we get into visualize, we're not necessarily talking about manifestation. We're talking about your attention. So if you're not into manifestation, number one, you're wrong, but you don't have to be. It's what are you paying attention to? You find what you are looking for.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. You find what you're looking for. And you've heard this before. Think about the red car theory. You all of a sudden decide you think you may want a red car, and all the cars are everywhere. They just start showing up everywhere. They didn't actually just appear. Your awareness changed. And that's the point of that. Your awareness changed for what you were looking for.
The RAS, reticular activation
exactly
system.
what it is.
It basically just fine-tunes your eyes to seek what you think. Right?
Yes.
People decide, I'm becoming a healthy person, and suddenly they start noticing like healthier choices. Oh my God, I didn't realize Quick Trip had all this extra health food. I didn't realize they had hard-boiled eggs. That's amazing. I just always saw the donuts, right? You start noticing opportunities to move. Oh, I just stay up another 10 minutes and finish off my 10,000 steps. I just kind of walk around the house. People see habits they'd never paid attention to before.
Yeah. And
you were going to say something.
Yeah. It was the same thing when I got into real estate investing. I started seeing things that I've been driving past for years. We've lived in the same part of the city we're in we've lived in different houses, but we've lived here 24 years. And I started noticing things that I've been driving past for years. All of a sudden it was construction, population growth, traffic patterns, retail development, things I'd never paid attention to before, until all of a sudden I started visualizing where apartment complexes were, where they could go, things like that.
Taking off driving in the middle of a field. What's going on here?
I've done that. You know,
I know.
and the opportunities don't magically appear. They just didn't.
Too.
I just started seeing the opportunities. It's what I was paying attention to. And one of my favorite stories is about Sarah Blakely. Spanx. Yes. So before Spanx.
Jinx.
Yeah. Before Spanx. Before she became a billionaire, her dad, I don't know if everyone knows this, her dad would ask her one question every single week. What did you fail at this week? And if she didn't have a response, he was disappointed. Think about how powerful that is.
Think about being raised in that framework.
Yeah. Most people are taught to avoid failure. She was taught to pursue attempts, to find things, to visualize things. That changes what you see when you start looking at things differently.
Yeah. What you look for shapes what you will find. Right? But what you say shapes what you become, which leads to the second part of the frameworks, vocalize.
Which is your favorite?
100%. Most people underestimate how much their self-talk matters. I no longer underestimate this. Your words are powerful. It's funny now, like going back to the language piece and back to the word failure, we yell it now at the gym, right? Like if you get to that point where like failure and we celebrate it. It's funny to watch people's reaction, like, oh yeah, oh I did it. Like changing their perception to that word, right? We seek it. Most people underestimate how much their self-talk matters. I'm bad with money. I've always struggled with my weight. I've always been the big kid. I'm not disciplined. I've never been able to eat healthy. I'm not smart enough. Right? And if you say something long enough, eventually you will start acting like it's true.
Yeah. I'm just not wealthy enough. It's too late for me to do something. And then you just stall.
I just poo-pooed on that statement an hour ago. I had a girlfriend like, it's too late for me to do that. I'm like, bullshit.
What's wild about all of this is eventually those statements become your identity.
Yeah. Yes. I'm thinking of a client who came to me completely convinced she was her own biggest problem. And she was in the way she didn't think, right? Before we ever talked about nutrition, before we ever talked about workouts, she told me exactly who she was, right? I'm the person that always quits. I can never stay consistent. I've failed every program I've tried. I did really good at first and then I failed. I quit. And the crazy part, she wasn't describing her past. She was predicting her future, right? Every day she was looking for proof that that story exists and was true, right? Miss a workout? God, I knew it. Eat off plan, there I go again. Scales up 2 pounds, I knew this wouldn't work. She wasn't measuring progress. She was building a case against herself. So we made a decision. We stopped talking about her failure like it was failure, right? We started collecting evidence. Evidence that she followed through. Evidence that she kept promises to herself. This is why I quantify everything. Because if I start hearing those statements, I'm like, bullshit, look how consistent you were. How many meals do you eat in a week? Let's say 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 21 meals. You're going to let one convince you that you're not consistent? Fuck off. Like, that's dumb. Don't say silly things, right? We kept evidence that she kept promises to herself, evidence that she was changing, because confidence is not something you magically feel. Confidence is earned. Confidence can be quantified, right? One promise kept at a time. We changed her language. Every time she said, I'm not disciplined, I'd stop. I'm like, no, don't say stupid things around me. I'll fix your language. Don't say dumb things, right? This is a woman who built a career, raised a family, showed up for everyone else for decades. Discipline was not the issue. The issue is that she had spent years reinforcing the wrong identity. Then we built some guardrails. I'm like, all right, you really think you're that undisciplined? I want you to have some guardrails, because she believed that one mistake erased all progress. I want you to miss a workout this week. Pick one. Doesn't matter. That's a box I want you to check. Have a bad meal. One stressful weekend. And I'd remind her, look at the progress you're making, even though these other things would have completely derailed you. We're testing that guardrail, right? And I'd remind her, bending the rules does not mean you broke them. One choice does not define you. And eventually, we got her family involved, right? Not to hold her accountable, but to hold her perspective. This was huge for me, and this is why I teach it now. Matt was my support during that, because I couldn't hear myself what I would say to myself. It was unconscious. And he would be able to call me out with love, right? When she'd slip back into the story, they'd gently remind her, that's not who you are anymore. And something incredible happened, right? Her body changed. But that wasn't the biggest win. The biggest win was that she stopped introducing herself as someone who always failed. If you are listening, yeah, this is about you. And I'm so freaking pumped at everything you've accomplished since we broke that statement, because she doesn't live here anymore, right? Someone who keeps going. Someone who gets back up. Someone who tests everything that she's believed about herself personally and professionally. The moment she stopped looking for proof she would fail and started collecting proof that she can and does succeed, her entire life changed.
Yeah, that was awesome. I want to sum that up by saying the most influential voice is usually your own. The shit she was saying, that is the most influential voice. And as a coach, you've got to break through that voice. And that is not an easy thing to do. So I commend you on that. But so I want to transition.
Sometimes I say it nicer than that.
Yeah. I want to transition to my favorite. You just had your favorite. The third one's my favorite of the 4. And even though it's my favorite, you can't get to 3 without doing 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. You just can't. And you certainly can't be successful if you don't get to this third one. So you got to start at 1, you got to start at 2, and then get to this third one. Because all 4 of these V's, like I said, they all work together. I mentioned that earlier. So everyone knows the Beatles. Everyone's heard of the Beatles. Doesn't matter what generation you're from, you've heard of them. But few people know what happened before they became the famous Beatles. Before they became this global success, they performed roughly 1,200 live shows in Hamburg. 1,200. Can you imagine that? Most people never even get close to that many repetitions. Success wasn't the breakthrough. Success was the result of repetition. Mm. So my favorite V, every action is a vote. My favorite one. 1 workout, 1 vote. 1 healthy meal, 1 vote. 1 sales call, one vote. One investor conversation in my world is one vote. Identity does not create behavior. Behavior creates identity.
Yes. People think when I become disciplined, then I'll take action, right? Which, again, no, don't say silly things, right? You become disciplined by taking action.
Yeah. And here's one of the reasons I love this one and maybe hated a little bit about it personally, but I think everyone's heard one of my superpowers is I'm very coachable. But if you look at the DISC personality profile, I am a hardcore C. And one of the things about a hardcore C is they need data and they need evidence. So you're trying to put those votes in there and you need data.
You need all the data.
You need all the data and all the evidence. You're always going to question things. So when I hire a coach or I do anything, I need to see what result looks like and how you get there. That's just what my profile is. So stick with me here. There is a point to this. I promise. I know it sounds like I'm trailing off from a vote from yourself, but every single person is different. But in general, and I'll tell you if we have any experts listening, I am saying general, the timeline to get results in a weight loss journey is really just about the numbers. Mm-hmm. It's just flat out about the numbers. Again, everyone's different, but it is about the numbers. So when I hired my first coach and he laid it out for me, I understood that if I do X, Y, and Z for this amount of time at this level, I'm going to have abs. Simple way of saying it. That's very overgeneralized, but a great coach.
No, it's not.
A great coach can get pretty damn close. They can get really, really close. So imagine if Jen, this is where I'm going about this repetition. This is why you've got to put in the reps. Imagine if Jen was your coach and she told you you're 30 workouts away from your weight loss goal. Would you dread the next 10 weeks if you're doing 3 workouts a week? Or would you get excited every single time you did a workout because you were checking it off 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, and you're getting closer and closer and closer because you're putting in the reps? It's also why you need a good coach in anything you do. It doesn't matter, a relationship coach, whatever it is, because they can tell you what, for someone like me, the hard C, the steps are to get where you need to go and how long you're going to have to do it, how many reps you're going to have to do. Because every step gets you closer. Most people just quit because they don't know their number. And I'm one of those guys, I got to know the number so I can put those votes for myself.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that's probably why you're such a believer in hiring coaches, right? A good coach in any facet of life can give you a pretty good idea of the number.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's all numbers. In our gym, it's that way.
Any fat loss journey is it's a numbers game.
Yep.
I was just talking about that this morning with my new client who's lost 13 pounds of fat in 2.5 weeks. She's like, I just don't understand. I'm like, I do. Like, it's this minus this.
Side note, we know exactly how much money we have to spend on ads.
Yeah.
To get how many leads in the door, to get how many membership sales, to get how many coaching clients.
Yeah.
It's all math. It's the same thing in investing. It's all math.
Yeah.
And that's how you...
It's how you keep a level head, frankly.
But frankly, if you're having a problem with getting in the reps, you need to find someone that's done. I'm not saying you need to go hire a coach, a mentor, someone who can show you this is how many reps you've got to put in. This is the 30 workouts. These are the calls. These are what you have to do to get there. But
I think the next one I want to jump to, because, and it's so funny, like every time we go to Scottsdale, we make money.
Yeah, I love saying that. And I love seeing the look on people's face when I say, yeah, every time I go to Scottsdale, they're like, why do you go to Scottsdale so much? Because every time I go there, I make money.
And it's so, like, we both say it that fast.
Yeah.
Every time we go to Scottsdale, we make money.
So
people like, huh?
The fourth one is vicinity.
Yeah.
Fourth V is vicinity. It's who you are around. Warren Buffett gets all the attention, but what people probably don't know is a decision he made a long time ago was partnering with Charlie Munger. One relationship, decades of influence. One conversation in your life, one room, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. I remember being in a room, and it was in Scottsdale.
That's where we make it. But isn't it funny? Like this last little quarter boom.
Yep.
We were in Scottsdale in April. That's crazy.
Yeah, but if you go back,
evidence.
If you go back a few years ago, we were in a what I would call a mid-sized mastermind. I think maybe 30 or 40 people. Would you say that's probably mid? Not big. I mean, once you get any bigger than that, it's not really a mastermind. It's more of a convention. But it was 30 to 40 people, and I'm talking to this guy. He's a general physician, and to set the stage here, this mastermind brought in business people from all walks of life to connect and learn about what they're doing in business. So this guy is a general physician, a doctor. I know we talked about doctors last week, but he wasn't my doctor. So I had met him there, and we're talking, and this guy's doing good in all areas. You can just tell when someone's doing good. Shape, money, relationship, all that. And the conversation got around how the medical industry is changing so much, because I want to know more about that. I just don't know about that, a physician's clinic. And he starts telling me about it, and he says he loves his practice, but there's definitely a squeeze going on in the medical practice industry. And what's happening is it's causing a lot of independent doctors. Again, I didn't know this. He's telling me this. It's causing a lot of independent doctors to merge together to form a bigger group. And when they do that, they just become an employee. And that's not what they really want to do. And so I'm asking, well, are you there yet? And he says, no, but, it's something we're looking at. I said, are you concerned about that? Becoming an employee of a practice rather than running one? He says, no, Matt, I make majority of all my money in real estate. One room, one conversation. Tell me more.
How so?
And this changed how I looked at real estate completely. Because this guy was a successful doctor. Excuse me. My voice is going out. Successful doctor. And I'm thinking about where we're at. Gym business is good, but it's getting squeezed as well. Not only could I do what he was doing, but the big light bulb for me was there's so many people out there like him and like me. Because with the model I was looking at, and the model I'm in is I pool investors together. I go buy an apartment complex, but I don't buy it by myself. I pool investors together, and we go do that. We go buy those together. So I'm thinking, if doctors are going through this, and gym owners are going through this, this is the perfect path for me. It was that one conversation, be in that one room, that completely changed my trajectory. They don't just earn income from one source. They're looking for additional cash flow. That's what he told me.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest shifts in my life came from getting in the right room. Very similarly, right?
Yeah.
Years ago, we joined a different mastermind filled with people operating at a level that in my world felt intimidating, right? Because my proximity was just running the gym day to day, right? These people were moving at a high level. Bigger investments, bigger businesses, bigger lives, right? And at first, I felt like I was playing catch up. Like, I don't deserve to be in this room. Like, I needed to prove that I belonged there. But the more conversations that I had, the more I realized something. They weren't better than me. They weren't smarter than me. They weren't more deserving than me. They had simply expanded their belief of what was possible. And that hit me hard, right? Because for years, I had unknowingly put a ceiling on my own life, right? This was of my own doing, not because of talent, right? Not because of opportunity, but because of belief. That room didn't teach me how to become successful, right? It taught me that I deserved to be there. I'm not good at my job by luck, right? I belonged in those conversations, that I was capable of building something bigger. And sometimes the greatest value of proximity isn't the strategy. It's realizing the people you admire are human too.
Yeah, most people underestimate how much their environment actually influences them in their life.
Go back to the Roger Bannister.
Okay.
Think about how many groups he was probably in that witnessed the 4-minute mile. And all of them, wait, he's no different than us. He's not some mutant.
That's why these 4 V's all tie together.
Right? And I remember a mentor transforming how I look at the world, and he eventually drilled into me. I am not high maintenance. I have high standards.
I love that.
Right? Standards are contagious. Like absolutely contagious. So are excuses.
Yeah.
So are excuses, right?
Yeah. So let's start to put a wrap on this. If you're feeling stuck, and we went through the 4 V's, but if you're feeling stuck, don't ask what goal should I set. Avoid doing that and start asking, what am I visualizing? What am I vocalizing? What am I voting for every day? And where am I spending my time? Those 4 things literally right there will change your life, because those 4 things are what shapes your future. They are exactly what you need to be paying attention to. And most people aren't seeing this. Whether you're paying attention to it or not, they are directing your life. They just flat out are.
And none of them require talent. That's what I love, right? Just awareness.
Go back to that room. I knew exactly what mastermind you're talking about. It's where they brought in the Louis Vuitton speaker.
Yeah.
There were so many people in there who did
my God.
I was like, I don't know how they got where they're at. Great people.
Gulp.
But what you just said was the talent. They didn't have talent. They'd done these 4 V's.
Yeah. Just awareness. I saw the 4-minute mile being broken in front of my eyes. Like, going back to what my father used to drill into my head, right? Why the hell can't you?
Yeah. So, all right, wrapping this up, let's go back. Let's go back to the 4. Remember, I just said them. What are you visualizing? What are you vocalizing? What are you doing to get vote every day? And who are you around?
And awareness is where change begins.
I love it.
Let's wrap. Guys, you know what to do. This was a longer one this week. I'm kind of sad that Mr. Sullivan didn't peep up, but he's doing so good taking a nap. Maybe he's visualizing.
Yeah. Let's close now before he jumps up.
Okay. Bye, guys.